Hey everyone, it's Mr. Egbert. I am making some videos this week, and I'm making the videos in my basement, so you'll have to be patient with me. I have 3 kids. The youngest is 8, and you might hear all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the background. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about what we're going to do this week, and it's called surface area of solids. Solids is just a fancy word for a 3D shape. Okay, so everything we're going to talk about this week and next week is considered a 3D shape, but we're going to call them solids. The first one is called a rectangular prism. So we're going to find the surface area of a rectangular prism. And when you think about surface area, what we mean is the area of all the external parts of the shape. So in the case of a rectangular prism, it has a front and a back. So here we have a front and a back. Okay, and then I can get rid of that, and I can show you it also has a left side and a right side. And if I get rid of that, you can see that it also has a top and a bottom. Just like a box. If you grab any sort of box, you can look at it and see that it has 6 sides. So when it comes to surface area, what we want to do is we want to find the area of the 6 rectangles that make up the sides of the shape. Okay, and the way we're going to do it is we could look at them all individually and just find the area of each rectangle and then add them all together and then multiply it by 2. But that could get kind of confusing. So we have a formula, and it's over here on the left-hand side. So we have a formula that says SA, which stands for surface area, is equal to 2. That 2 is there because we have pairs of sides, right? So we had a front and a back that are the same size, a left and a right that are the same size, and a top and the bottom that are the same size. So the 2 is there because we're going to essentially find the area of each individual shape, but then multiply it by 2, so because we have 2 of each one. And then you'll see a bunch of letters on the inside of the parentheses. It says L and W, L and H, W and H. So the L, W, and H stand for length, width, and height. And when we're dealing with a rectangular prism, the length, width, and height will change depending on how the shape is presented to you. So in this case, we have this shape. It looks like it's laying on one of its long sides. So really what we could do is we could call any of these 3 measurements the length, we could call any of them the width, and any of them the height. We just want to make sure we label them so we can keep track of what we're dealing with. Okay, so so my L is going to be kind of a cursive looking L. So so I'm going to call the 7. Well, yeah, I'm just going to call the 7 the L, even though it looks like the height. I'm going to call 7, L. I got to turn my pen on here. I still got to turn my pen on. There we go. And then I'm going to call the 10 the width, and I'm going to call the 20 the height. So in this case, my prism is actually laying on its side because the height is the 20, which is on the bottom of the shape. Okay, so all we have to do now is take these 3 measurements and basically plug them into our formula. So if we take the surface area, and we say 2 times, and then if we do length times width, well, that's 7 times 10. And then if we do length times height, that's 7 times 20. And then if we do width times height, that's 10 times 20. Okay, so I've got all my numbers in there, and now all I have to do is simplify it. So I'm going to say surface area is equal to 2 times, well, 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 20 is 140. Oh, that's not very pretty. Here, let's fix that. 140. And then 10 times 20 is 200. Okay, so then I just keep simplifying. I'm going to add all those together. And if you want to, you can skip some of these steps. You could do this whole thing in the calculator if you wanted to. You could do everything in the parentheses in the calculator, then multiply it by 2. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. It really depends on what type of calculator you're using and what your preference is. So now I'm just going to add everything together that's in the parentheses. So I have 2 times, well, 70 and 140 is 210. 210 plus 200 is 410. Okay, and then 2 times 410 is 820. And in this case, we have some units there, so we're going to want to keep the units. So we have 820 meters. And then surface area is area, so we want to make sure we square the units. So it's 820 meters squared. Okay, so if we're finding the surface area of this particular rectangular prism, it is 820 meters squared. Okay, so there's a rectangular prism. There are going to be 5 more videos that follow this with different shapes that that will show you how to find the surface area of different solids. All right,